10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All systems go.
You're listening to Sudbury News Talk.
I want to show you something.
Stand by.
On the morning shift.
Anything
Could happen.
Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift. I am AJ Walsh. I am glad to be here with you today. We're live on CKLU 96.7 FM on the radio. We're also streaming live at cklu.ca. You just click on the Radio Player Canada app and you can stream us. If you download it, you can take us with you and listen to us anywhere, anytime on your favorite device. Make sure to while you're there, check out the merch, and that helps support the station because you put the U in CKLU. It's the only way that we're able to be on the air is because of you. So if you already have the merch or you're not able to, you don't need it, you can just drop us a donation and help keep the airwaves open. We're also streaming live at facebook.com/Sudbury News, youtube.com/Sudbury News. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, and follow the channel and the page. And then afterwards, after the live, the show will be found on those two platforms on demand, along with x.com/Sudbury News and Sudbury.news, which is our news aggregating website. Aggregates all the news into one convenient location. And we're grateful to offer this as a service to Sudbury, for the people, for the news organizations, all in response to the federal government's policies that makes it impossible to share news, whether it's international, national, local, regional, any kind of news on Facebook, which is the world's largest used social media platform in the world, like I said. So it's, that's why we do it. That's why we have Sudbury.news as a news aggregating website. It's got everything you need on there for local news. Check it out if you haven't already. But mainly for today's show, comment. We'll do our best to get your comments up on the screen for those watching, read for those listening. And as usual, we dive in with the weather to begin with. And then we look at a few local stories. And then a possible deep dive into something that, is national or international that, yesterday we looked at the legal system. And maybe today we're going to just kind of piggyback off of that. Off the legal system is, for some people, they're really stringent. And for others, they're very lenient. And so who decides who gets what treatment in Canada, right? Can we really rely on a legal system that's fair and honest and treats everybody the same, like everyone would hope? I'm sure if you asked anyone on the street, would you support a legal system that treats everybody the same? And I'm sure the answers would be resoundingly yes. I am sure it would be less than 1% if you asked everybody who have feet on this soil in this country at this time, regardless of where they come from. They would say, yes, the legal system should treat everybody the same. However, we have evidence, if you want to use the legal term, that is not the case. And we'll piggyback off yesterday's show in that case. And we'll show a local story that we've already shown from Valet, an anonymous letter that was sent in about an issue they have there and how they're dealing with it. And I don't know if it's legal or not, but it has policy issues that could be followed or not followed. So within the corporation, their, protocol to follow, kind of like their laws within their company, So we'll look into that a little bit as a review of something we've already talked about on the show. And we're going to have a great show. We start off with the weather. Like I said, we'll just dive right in. We'll be back after this. And as usual, Sudbury weather is brought to you by sudburyweather.ca. Currently it's 16 degrees. There's some fog out there, but don't worry, it's going to clear up by sometime this morning, and then high of 26 today. The humidex, it'll feel like 31. And the UV index is 8 or very high. And then tonight, it'll be clear with a low of 14. Tomorrow, increasing cloudiness late in the morning, high of 24, humidex 29. And if you look at the long range here, as we can see, today's mainly sunny. Tomorrow, some cloudiness is coming in, but then no need to fear. Sunday will be sunny, high of 30. And Monday, 40% chance of showers, high of 28. Mix of sun and cloud on Tuesday, high of 27, high of 23 on Wednesday, 40% chance of showers, mix of sun and cloud on Thursday with a high of 21. Regardless, looks like you could get rain at any particular time. You just have to watch out. And yesterday's weather was bizarre. I had to drive through it. You can tell it was totally geoengineered. There wasn't nothing normal about the weather we got yesterday. I could have sworn they were trying to cause some flash floods again. Just like they did a week and a half ago or whatever here in this area where there were 6 washed out roads, that was totally unnatural as well. All you had to do is just be out in it, and you can tell it was nothing like you've ever seen before. The colors in the sky, the way the clouds formations were, everything about it was unnatural. And so for whatever reason, the geoengineering that's going on around here, I really wish they would just come out and be transparent about it and just say, okay, today we're gonna make it rain really heavily. So if you're in this area, just drive with caution or whatever. But no, for some reason, it's not transparent. But on the government's website, they have contracts out for weather modification and geoengineering. So all you have to do is go on the government's website and look at the weather-related contracts we have in the country. Anyways, just thought I'd mention that because we're in our weather segment. We'll be back with news headlines, your comments, and much more right after this. All right, and welcome back, and thanks for being with us. We have a good little chunk of people on this morning. And we want to welcome you. What do we got first on YouTube? We got Nana. Good morning. All blessings, y'all, and blessings, everybody. Prayer emoji, heart emoji. Much appreciated. Good morning, Nana and Northern Hillbilly. Also on YouTube. Good morning, people. Monique on Facebook. Sudbury, good morning. Shade smiley emoji. Judy on Facebook, good morning to you. Hazel, prayer emoji, good morning. Pat, good morning. Friday. And people, peace emoji, smile emoji. And anyways, great. It's Friday today, right? So just a reminder that you can be excited now that you know that. Belinda, good morning, everyone. Some people drink deeply from the well of knowledge the well of knowledge, sorry. Some people drink deep from the well of knowledge, while others use rinse and spit. Drink deeply. That's interesting. I've never heard that before, so I'm going to have to read that again. Some people drink deeply from the well of knowledge, while others just rinse and spit. Okay, yeah, I see it now, yeah. I pictured them spitting back into the well of knowledge, and I wouldn't really want to take a deep drink after that vision. So, but at the same time, they're not spitting back into the well. They're just rinsing like after they brush their teeth, and they're not drinking it. So they're not getting much knowledge, in other words. So just a thought for everybody. The well of knowledge is there for everybody. There's no blocking knowledge from anyone, anytime, anywhere at all. You can get as much knowledge as you possibly want, especially in today's day and age with the internet. Now, if you're just using the internet to be entertained all day and allow the internet to to control what you're looking at and when you're looking at it, well, then that's different. You can remember that you are in control. You can decide what you go to see or not. You don't have to scroll and just allow everything that pops up to come into your feed and look at it. You can actually be proactive and say, I'd like to learn about this. What about this? How does this work? And actually go out and find it. And you'll be the more better off for that because you will learn so much. And I would, if you have the stomach for it, ask yourself who you are, how you got here, what your purpose is in being here, and where are you going after here. Those are some really deep questions if you got the stomach for it. And you really want to find that out. I think that's brought me the most meaning in my life to ask those questions and drink from the well of knowledge in those particular topics. And from there, it led me to basically anything that I want to know. And Vin, good morning to you. Belinda, okay. Grand Rising Monique, good morning to you as well. Okay, there's a conversation happening here, and it looks like Vin lost one of his pets, and sorry to hear that, Vin. I know I'm about to lose one of mine, as my dog in dog years is over 90, and so we are expecting that any day now. So thoughts go out to you with that, and it's really hard. A lot of people downplay the loss of a pet, and it's a huge thing. Dogs are man's best friend. Cats are, they find their way into our hearts, and it's sad when we lose them, especially when they're with us for so long. They've changed laws quietly since 1990 and continue changing while people are in a deep sleep. For sure, that is true. Northern Hillbilly. Bob, good morning to you. Good morning, everyone. Have a great weekend. Same to you, Bob. And Brian, good morning, Nickel City Patriots, Canada flag emoji. There was a huge rainbow. Yes, I saw it in my rearview mirror as I was driving. And regardless if the weather's natural or unnatural, when you put the moisture into the sky that much, and with the sun, because the sun was right there, and because it was geoengineered and it was just only in certain areas, it was sunny on one side and it was just like tornado weather on the other side of the sky. Well, the sun against that contract is going to make a huge rainbow, and it definitely did. That was a beautiful sight for sure. There's no doubt about it. Oh my goodness. So Rusty is the name of your, I don't know what particular animal, but just because I'm reading on the fly, but was Pet Save's most expensive patient to date. Loved by many. And sorry to hear that, Vin, honestly, from the bottom of my heart. And Jerome, good morning from Valcaron Industrial Park. And what a beautiful morning it is, and it is. Cindy, good morning, everyone. Good morning to you, along with Cheryl. Good morning. Pierrette. Yes, thank goodness it's Friday. And bonjour to you as well. And there is fog, I guess, in some areas. That's what the Environment Canada is saying. And Evelyn, good morning to you. And yes, if you allow, again, like I was saying, you have to go after knowledge. Oftentimes, knowledge will not come to you. Through your feed on Facebook. Sure, my algorithm gives me some really good feeds now because of what I proactively go out and search for on my feed. But if I just relied on that alone, then it would eventually start changing and putting me off into another area where of places I don't necessarily want to go or I'm not in charge of. You're in charge of your brain. You're in charge of your knowledge. You're in charge of you. Don't allow tech to kind of take that over. And yes, Pat, our pets are our babies for sure. Reality of flash floods, they have the ability to take lives. They do. I wish they would stop playing with fire. And yes, definitely our gardens. That was Belinda, and Denise is enjoying the rain for the gardens. And it was, yes, my dog will go at some point when it happens. I hope it goes smoothly as well. And we're hoping that she had some kind of incident where it was like a stroke, but I forget the name of it. Older dogs get it. And we thought that was it for her. She couldn't walk. She couldn't walk. And in order to, have her do her thing, I had to pick her up, and she's a huge German Shepherd mix, and pick her up, bring her outside, have her do her thing. And then eventually we called it's a 1-800 number, a veterinarian place. I forget the name of it, but they'll use your phone camera to assess your dog, and it costs $100. So we were thankful for the price, and they diagnosed her correctly, and they were even able to, prescribe medicine for the dog. And they were right in their diagnosis. They said, this is like a stroke, but a lot of dogs get it. And it was some kind of geriatric in the terminology or whatever. But anyways, so she did recover, just like the vet on the other side of the phone said. And she recovered. Now she didn't fully recover. She kind of walks a bit slanted and whatever, but she recovered, and it was pretty cool that that service was available for one, saved money, and it worked. And Dan, good morning to you. Thanks for being on. And one question leads to more questions. One thing I'm certain of, we'll never know everything, and you are right. And that is actually the cool thing about knowledge, is because can you imagine you can get to a point where you knew everything? How boring would life be after that point, right? So there's no end to knowledge. There's no end to experiences and learning and the awe of existence. There's no end to it. That's the really great aspect of it. However, you can know some fundamentals, like why you're here. You can know where you came from. You can know who you are and where you're going. You could know those fundamental questions. You can know those answers. And I think from there gives you a foundation. You can feel confident in yourself, confident in your life. There's a lot of depression in the world these days. There's a lot of people that rely on mental health supports. A lot of people, struggle. And as the world gets more and more confusing and complicated, when you don't know those answers to those questions, you end up being more anxious and not really knowing, that everything will be okay. Because if you really know who you are, it doesn't matter what this world can do to you. You are an eternal being. So again, I'm saying things that I've taken years and years to figure out, but it hasn't taken, to get the core answers to those questions really didn't take me very long. Maybe, little bits and pieces added onto that, but I was pretty confident I was onto something, weeks or months into my really asking those questions. And it wasn't like I went to somebody to get those answers either. I just had to be willing to know those to ask the questions and then be okay with the answers. I just had to be willing. And they came. Just because I wanted to know. Knock and you shall receive, right? Ask. And this is true. I found that to be true. So you might have heard that statement before. Knock and it shall be open. Ask and you shall receive, right? And good morning, Liette from River Valley. No, not Liette, Linda. And I got Lorraine on here. So what is that number? Where do I find it? Okay. I think I just Google it. I don't have it on me right now. It's, I can't remember the name of it even, but it's like a 1-800 number. So toll-free number for vet services, maybe in Canada, maybe, or Ontario. Maybe just Google that and you should find it. And yes, Evelyn, knowledge is power. And Rusty was a German Shepherd mix as well. He was suffering from canine MMM as well as a tumor on his spleen, mixed with many other allergies, etc. We loved each other and he taught a lot, for sure. Animals, if there's one thing, especially I find dogs and cats too, to some extent, they can teach us the kind of love which it's unprecedented because it doesn't matter what you do to them in a way. They'll still love you. Like they love you no matter what. Unconditional love is the word I was looking for. They have unconditional love. And that is something that we can learn as human beings. And I think it's the core thing we should learn. I think that's the main thing we take away from this life is to learn how to love ourselves, love others. And again, one of the main details that go into that is knowing ourselves, because how can you know someone you don't love someone you don't really know? It's hard, right? So, but you do get to the point eventually of doing that. But when you know yourself, you realize you're of worth, and that at least gives you a reason to love yourself because you're worth it. A lot of people don't feel they're worth it, but you are worth it to love. And a dog will definitely show you that. Like there's no way around it. Like there's nothing you could do that would stop the love of a dog with the dog's owner. And you come home, they're waiting for you. And the sad thing I find is these little dogs that are like, you can see them in the windows while you're driving by houses and they're waiting for their owners to get home. The whole day is waiting for the owner to come home. And that's just, there's something to be said for things like that, to witness things like that. Yeah, definitely look it up on Google for the service where you can call the number. Because vets are very expensive, and a lot of times not really needed because they're able to use the camera on your phone to assess the situation. And hello from Collingwood, that's Liette now. I was saying good morning to you earlier, and it's Lorraine, no problem, okay? So we're going to just start off with a little bit of where we finished off the other day. But first of all, we're going to go back and look at a story we covered here in town. And thanks to Trevor for sharing that. But I found it on Uncut Sudbury this morning. And I thought, you know what? I think maybe we need a little review of what is happening here in Sudbury with our own CTV News, right? Who covered this story. And, well, here you go. You're sharing the link here. Maybe that is it. It doesn't ring a bell to me, Brian, that was the name of it. It was a number you call. Like if you look up, toll-free number for vet service in Ontario, it'll give you the number. So if anyone finds that number, feel free to please share it for our viewers in the chat. And let's get to the story from CTV News. Let's see if I can make it big.
An anonymous letter was sent to us.
Turn the sound off. Let's see if we can rewind it to the beginning, because we got to do these things because Facebook doesn't have that happening automatically. But my good friend Tony Rima is going to introduce this story here for you.
Has an exclusive story tonight after an anonymous letter was sent to us regarding concerns about gender identity at a Valley mine site. It claims a woman who identifies as a man is being allowed to shower in the men's shower area instead of using the diversity shower. Alan Everson reports.
We received an anonymous letter from a Valley employee who says they have never filed a complaint in the workplace against anyone for any reason, and has worked there for several years. The letter claims that at the Creighton mine site in Greater Sudbury, a woman who identifies as a man is allowed to shower in the men's shower area instead of using a shower that was designed for these types of situations. The letter states, "I am not insensitive to people wanting to identify as another gender, but I don't believe that it should be forced on everyone else at that mine site to accept when it comes to showering together. I am married with kids, and my wife has been very upset about this since she got there a few weeks back. This person has female body parts, both top and bottom, and is allowed to shower with men?" We contacted Valley and received a statement via email. Valley Base Metals is committed to a diverse, equitable, and inclusive workplace that accommodates all genders. Our policies and procedures are designed to ensure a respectful and harmonious workplace in accordance with the law. As we do not discuss specific personnel matters, we have no further comment. We also contacted United Steelworkers Local 6500, which represents just over 2,900 Valley employees. In a statement, President Ray Hammond says, "The union is committed to representing all members' human rights and ensuring the law is followed. We continue to have talks with the company about improving diversity and inclusion in the workplace." The anonymous letter also states, in part, "We are being forced to compromise our marriages, as we are not all okay with this kind of thing. And if it was my wife showering with men, I'd be just as mad, but we are told to suck it up." Another confidential source we talked to called it an issue of privacy in the shower area. The last sentence of the anonymous letter asks, "What's wrong with this picture?" Alana Everson, CTV News, Sudbury.
CTV has an...
Yeah, so what is wrong with this picture, I guess, right? Is the question that particular person asked, and that's something that you'd have to ask yourself. But it seems like you saw Valet's response, you saw the union's response, and they're very mindful of diversity and wanting to create a very diverse workforce and workplace. And that sounds like they were promoting the diversity aspect of it, even though this person's complaint was, "This seems like your diversity policies are infringing on the rights of other people. And so this is the idea of law." And then they said, "And we are doing whatever it is within the confines of law." I'm just kind of rephrasing it or whatever, right? So they both mentioned we uphold anything that supports diversity, and we want to uphold the law. So what is the law with that anyways, right? So what is the law? So if I just want to walk into a shower stall of teenage girls somewhere and have a shower, is that okay within the law? Interesting, right? Some kind of questions that we never really had to deal with in our society before, because the morals and ethics of our society were much different, where people would just think about it for a second and go, "No, that's not right." Whereas now, maybe our laws are such that it is okay that I could just go into a shower full of teenage girls and have a shower, and the law is okay with me doing that. So think about that, right? Like this person said, we're talking about knowledge earlier today. We're talking about who we are as people. We're talking about, loving and unconditional love of pets, loving us and whatever. What goes through your mind if your teenage daughter has a grown man come into their showering with them? Think about it. Like, what, regardless of what the law is, what are laws supposed to do? They're supposed to protect us, right? That doesn't sound like these teenage girls are being protected by the law if the law allows that to happen. So think about that, right? Think about it. Is that right? Right? Are our laws protecting our people? Everyone. It's not just one group of people. It needs to protect everyone. And it sounds like it's only starting to protect a certain group of people instead of everybody, right? And that's the way it's going. And I know there's a movement to do that. And I know, because I do this every day and I'm studying, that there's huge agendas out there to change our laws, to invert the way things are in society for many reasons. It's to take apart our very bad Western capitalistic society. And these are one of the tools that are used to do that, is break down the moralistic foundation of our society, the way that we have had our society for so many years, right? And speaking of that, there's all kinds of things going on. Moose on the Loose, talking about a particular lawyer that, and we also talked yesterday about the laws. Laws are for some people. Some people are different than laws for other people. We're not sure why that is. But, you have the Chris and Tamara being, their trial going on in Ottawa. They were organizers of the Freedom Convoy, and they're getting they're being used as poster children for this thing, so that way no one else does anything like this or stands up to the government, right? So we'll see what happens with that. Whereas we had Mero for the North on yesterday talking about a particular gentleman from North Bay who's a new Canadian, or who's on here. He's here on a visa. He's an immigrant, and he was going over 200 kilometers an hour drunk on Highway 17, got into an accident and said he was sorry. And the judge just said, okay, we'll just drop all the charges, right? So how can we treat different factions of our society differently with our laws? Why aren't they the same for everyone? So here you have a lawyer who was defending the people that were protesting in Ottawa, now getting debanked by the Royal Bank, right? So this is a whole other aspect of things going on. And you can expect this, if it happens to her, it's going to happen to more people, and it might even happen to you. So we can't allow this kind of thing to happen. But here's Moose on the Loose.
Moving ahead, we've got quite the story here of debanking. We've got Eva Chipiuk. This is a Freedom Convoy lawyer. She got this letter from RBC. She says, well, I wasn't expecting this from RBC. Welcome to Canada, where tyranny has great customer service. What is this letter? It says, personal and confidential, termination of banking relationship. As a federally regulated financial institution, RBC is required by law to comply with applicable legislation. These laws require that we implement certain processes and procedures that directly support the formulation of RBC's positions with respect to risk. After careful consideration, we regretfully advise you that the recent activity in your accounts is outside of RBC's client risk appetite. And subsequently, we are no longer in a position to continue our banking relationship with you. We recognize you will need to seek an alternative financial institution to support your banking needs, and we ask it no later than August 18th, 2025. Termination date. This is unbelievable. Western Standard did an article on this. He's got a snippet of it here. It says, if financial institutions can cut you off without explanation, without notice, and without due process, that is a serious problem in a free society, she stated. It creates fear and uncertainty, especially when there is no transparency or recourse. We need to have serious conversation about the power banks hold and what protections Canadians have, because right now, any protections are quickly eroding. The question is, why are they debanking her? Well, she went there and talked to someone. She has an audio clip. As she says here, "Oh, I know, but that was part of the problem for them. I moved some money, then they froze the account. Then lectured me about it before releasing my money. Have a listen."
So what was your first question again?
The first question was, how did you learn about this opportunity with the cryptocurrency?
Yeah, I was at a Bitcoin conference.
Okay. Is there a third party involved, or is this all on your own merit?
Yeah, it's all on my own merit. And just for the recording, I'm doing this totally against my will because Royal Bank is not allowing me to access my own money without these questions being answered that I totally am not comfortable with. Continue.
Do you have full access to your own crypto wallet?
Yes, I do.
Access. Okay. Are you able to withdraw funds from there if you need from the cryptocurrency?
Of course I can. It's much easier than the way Royal Bank is treating me at the moment, in fact.
That's fair. I'm just asking you some questions.
Yeah, which are,
Yeah.
that you've made up.
Were you promised a specific rate of return?
No, I wasn't.
Okay. Were you
What an unbelievable question to ask, where you promise a specific rate of return.
asked to install any software on your computer?
No, I wasn't.
Okay. How long have you been investing in crypto approximately? Is this a brand new thing? Have you
No,
been doing-
years.
Years? Okay. And you are able to sign into the crypto website yourself, sell, trade, and withdraw all on your
Much
own.
easier than with the Royal Bank as I'm experiencing right now.
I will answer those questions and I will get back to you.
Thank you so much.
So clearly this is a crypto problem. She invested in some crypto and they didn't like it. So I have an RBC account. I tried to invest in crypto a while ago and they blocked it. This was probably 4 or 5 years ago. They blocked the transaction. They wouldn't even let me move some money over to my Coinbase account. Ironically enough, last year a hacker got a hold of my Coinbase account, so I don't think I even have it anymore. Not like there was any money in there, but it appears to me that they are locking down her account and debanking her, kicking her out of RBC because she's investing in crypto. And as she posts here, I am confused. RBC allows you to buy iShares Bitcoin ETF. I mean, it's right here on their own website. So what's the deal here, guys? Is this really about Bitcoin? Is it because she was a Freedom Convoy lawyer? I don't think this is going to end well for RBC because there's already a bunch of people saying they're going to pull out. And I've already been talking about how miserable experience I've had with RBC. Somebody was able to wire transfer all of my money out of my account to Milan without my signature. And when I went in there to question them on it and say, hey, where's my money? They said they couldn't get the money back until I started yelling in an RBC. A manager came out and then told me they would give me my money back. If they didn't, then there would have been real problems. I probably would have went to the police first, and if that didn't work, then I probably would have hired a lawyer and sued them into the Stone Age. But this has almost got 1 million views and a ton of people saying they're leaving RBC now. Was this worth it to them? And along the same lines here, we got this one from the JCCF. A judge has demanded to see records from TD Bank and the RCMP regarding 2022 freezing of bank accounts of a Freedom Convoy participant.
How many Canadians had their bank accounts frozen by the government?
It was between 200 and 300 Canadians had their bank accounts frozen. No, that doesn't include some. I was talking to a friend just recently. His bank account was not frozen, but he had trouble dealing with his account because there's so many people were going to the bank to withdraw cash. That banking system started to verge into a crisis of sorts.
Yeah, I know some local people that had the same thing. They went to get their money out and the bank gave them nothing but gears on how to get.
And that happened to me too. You go to the bank and you want to take cash. They actually ask you why you're taking your cash out, and you have to tell them. So again, just so people that don't experience these things know what's happening, the trends are happening in Canada, the laws are changing. And if you don't go along with the laws, they have even newer tools than just arresting you or charging you. They just shut your bank down. Like this is happening now. It started to happen, and it's okay because it's only those Freedom Convoy people. It's okay. It's only Don Cherry who's getting canceled. You know, only Don Cherry got canceled. This guy was racist, and he told people to wear poppies, and he was old. Like, I remember people saying that when Don Cherry got canceled. And I said, don't be doing that. You can't cancel anybody. Sure, go through the process. If he said something that was illegal or against the policies or whatever, you know, it is what it is. But I don't think he did, as far as I can see, encouraged everyone to wear poppies, including new Canadians, because maybe when you come new to a country and you understand why the country is so the kind of country you want to go to, why it became that kind of country. And that's the reason why we wear the poppies. People fought for that, right? So he's encouraging everyone, including new Canadians, to wear a poppy. Well, he was canceled for that. And everyone was happy. There's a lot of people who are happy that and I was like, what's going on? Sure, it's going to start with Don Cherry, and then it's going to be anybody who doesn't go along with whatever the corporation wants. They're just going to cancel you. And that's exactly what ended up happening. You have people now who are far left on CBC, for crying out loud, and they're getting canceled. People getting canceled all over the place, right? So now bank accounts are being frozen, but you're okay with it because it's free. Those demonized by the CBC and mainstream media convoy people, those convoy people. You'll notice yourself even saying that. How do you even say something like that? Are you biased? And where's the bias coming from? Those convoy people. Well, they deserve it. They deserve their bank account to be frozen because they fought against the mandates, which we should have just did every single thing the government said. Even though now you look back and there were so many wrong things done that the Freedom Convoy people were right by saying, okay, enough's enough. This isn't what you're making it out to be. It's just all control everywhere. You're forcing people to take medical solutions against their will. You're forcing them, or they'll lose their jobs, they'll lose their livelihood. They can't travel. They got to stay inside. They got to wear masks. They got to do all these things. For what? Really, honestly, for what? So you over emphasize things that didn't need to be overemphasized, and you're to blame for that. And the convoy people were right. The convoy people, the people who participated in the convoy, and now they're being punished for standing up against the government. Can you think about that for a second? Think about that. For standing up against a government, that should be your right in a free country, to be able to stand up peacefully against the government. And they peacefully protested. That's what they did. Now, the G20, other protests, they weren't so peaceful. Black Lives Matter weren't so peaceful, even though the mainstream media would be out there and there's fires and people shooting, and they're like, well, we're here at the Black Lives Matter mostly peaceful rally, and people were getting killed. Meanwhile, no one died. There was no violence or anything going on with the protests in Ottawa, but yet it was demonized as if it was. So it's inverted. It's backwards, and the media just wants to get away with spinning things the way they want to spin it. And if you don't go along with it, you get your bank account frozen now. And it's not only RBC, as we can see from here, it's TD as well. So will there be a bank that says, okay, we welcome all people regardless of your political views? That's why you're being debanked, is your political views. Ask yourself, what kind of country debanks people if they don't go along with the government's views? What types of countries do that? Okay? And you've heard me say this on the show time and time again. We're moving full on into a communist type country. We're already there. We're just, we're just waiting to kind of just do it full force. We're making all the laws that will give us the ability to do that. And then eventually, if you don't just shut up and go along with everything, you won't be allowed to have a bank account. You won't be allowed to travel. You'll just be erased from society. And that's where we're getting in our country, in Canada. Imagine that. Who would have thought? Okay, it's all the time we got for today. Thanks for being with us. Have a great weekend, everyone. Stay positive. Remember to like, share, take care, stay aware. And we'll be back same time on the same platforms, God willing, on Monday. Be safe. Be happy. Stay tuned now for Earshot Daily on CKLU 96.7 FM. Ciao, everyone.
This is Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.